Alright, this is John Colo with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and today I'm so excited because I'm going to unbox the all-new Hurom H70 Juicer here in the United States. I am aware that in some countries around the world, this may be sold as the H410. I will personally say that I'm not a big fan of companies naming juicers different model numbers in different countries. Nonetheless, I'm super excited to unbox this and share this with you and share my opinions and also use it to make a juice as well as a sorbet. So yeah, this is the Hurom and it says your health our priority. The fun thing about Hurom that you may not know is that this is literally their 50th year anniversary in business. They started their company in Korea in 1974. That's a lot older than some of you guys out there that are watching, but then maybe some of you guys out there are watching are old timers. Nonetheless, Hurom has been around in business for 50 years in Korea, and actually I need to give them credit because they are the ones that I credit with inventing literally the vertical slow juicer style with their SST technology nearly 20 years ago now. So this is quite impressive, and this is their latest and greatest model. And you know, Hurom has taken the direction and they have done customer surveys to find why don't people juice, and they found out the biggest reason is because people hate the cleanup. Also, to a lesser degree, they found out that people don't like the whole juicing process where you gotta put something in the juicer and keep pushing it in and all this stuff. So that's why they invented their Easy Clean series with the hopper. This absolutely is the easiest juicer, least effort that it will take you to juice, because literally you put the produce in there, you shut the lid, you can walk away, let the juicer juice without you. You come back and literally you rinse it off. No brushing required according to the instruction manual on the inside. And I'll be putting that to the test in this episode. So yeah, I'm so excited about this latest and greatest model from Hurom here in the USA. And this literally just got released. So let's go ahead and unbox it and share with you guys what comes in it. So inside here, I mean, this is basically a pretty basic juicer. You're not going to get much with it, but they give you everything you need. So you got the Pulp collection cup. You got the juice collection cup right here. You got a brush, and I'm thinking, hey, why do you need a brush if they claim this? You don't need a brush to clean the machine. I don't know, they still give you a brush. You also have a pusher that, in my opinion, you should not be using. In addition, you have some information in here, including their warranty card and specifications on the product. You have a quick start guide, a special hidden tag instruction guide to ensure that you have an authentic Hurom product, not a knockoff. They were getting knocked off in China a while back. And then also a recipe book that is in multiple languages, as well as your instruction book that is also in multiple languages. All right, so next up, we got the juicer body coming right out. And this is a nice, small, compact unit. And then next up, we got the juicer body parts coming out, which includes the hopper as well as the juicing apparatus down below. They have a nice patterned look to it. And I think the last thing we got is we got a standard IEC cord to plug this unit into the wall. I do like that they do have a detachable cord now on their Hurom juicers. Now, one thing I'm always upfront with you guys and tell you guys like it is. So I'm going to disclose this, and many influencers may not disclose this. But on the back of the box here, there's a little warning right here at the bottom. It's kind of small. It says, warning. This product contains chemicals including D-phthalate, which is known to the state of California to cause cancer and or reproductive harm. For more info, go to p65warnings.ca.gov. So basically, this is a warning that Hurom voluntarily puts on their machines so that they could be in California compliance. And I know some people might get freaked out. It has a cancer warning, John, on the juicer, but you're still recommending it? Yeah, so I looked into this. I've talked to the people at Hurom. I am waiting for them to give me official documentation to show me what parts in the juicer actually cause that cancer warning flag to be put on the machine. And actually, if we look on the label, because it has changed, it says basically it says dephthallate. So dephthallate is a plasticizer that is put into all cords so that the cord can remain flexible, right? Like cords are really flexible, right? If this was hard, rigid plastic, it would break when you moved it. The wires would break. So, you know, these cords have the dephthallate, and based on my research, other cords also have the dephthallate. Meanwhile, not all the companies out in the juicing stratosphere will put the warning on there. So I want to commend Hurom for being upfront and letting people know that, you know, hey, there's some, you know, potential cancer-causing plasticizers in this cord, which of course in no way ever come in contact with the juice. That being said, I would encourage them to look for other cords that maybe don't even have that kind of plasticizer and maybe won't be as flexible, but then they wouldn't need to put that little warning on to freak out customers. That being said, I will say that this machine Hurom advertises as BPA free, has no BPA in there. They also use an Ultim and an EcoZen that doesn't have any BPA according to the documentation that I've seen. So yeah, don't get freaked out about the warning on there. And the other thing that questions me to lead me to believe to other companies that use a very similar, if not the same cord, who actually don't put the warning sticker on their box. I mean, maybe they found, due to lawyers and all this stuff that I'm not really privy to, they don't need to. I have no idea. But once again, Hurom has it on there because they want to be in compliance. So those are all the parts you get. Super simple, super easy. And as this machine comes set up, you can do juicing of different fruits and vegetables. You could also make things like sorbet, frozen fruit sorbet, aka banana nice, that's N-I-C-E, cream, contains no dairy of course, as well as make things like nut milks in the Hurom H70 as it comes set up out of the box with no additional attachments. Alright, so let's get this cool looking box out the way. And let's go ahead and set up the Hurom H70 Juicer. So this is the motor body. I think it looks kind of stylish. And then what you do is this top set comes set up and already assembled in the box. So you could just like literally drop this in there, plug it in, and literally you're all ready to juice. I'll be taking this apart in a second to show you guys more about it. But meanwhile, I want to go ahead and dive into the recipe book and instruction manual and specifications because that is really important to me. So in the recipe book, which is in multiple languages, and my personal opinion is that it's great while it is in multiple languages because Hurom wants to streamline their production since they sell in so many countries around the world. They have this in like English, German, French, Spanish, Italian, maybe Polish, and maybe another, maybe Russian. I'm not sure that this is a language because I don't know what it is. But nonetheless, the cool thing is that it's in multiple languages. The sad thing is because it's in multiple languages, you know, they, like each section is shorter. That being said, I do want to read off something off one of these front pages right here, and it says precautions for use, and it says number 4 says please open juice cap during operation, which many people will miss. This is the juice cap. They say in the instruction manual, please open the juice cap during operation. Many people will close the juice cap during operation, which I'm not a big fan of. It basically will allow juice to collect inside the bowl, which in my personal opinion will reduce the yield based on my testing. Although they do have a really cool level gauge to see how much juice is in the bowl, and when it gets full, then you should definitely open it up and let the juice out. I mean, people like to see that juice falling out when it's full, which, you know, that's cool. Then it mixes in there. That being said, I'm not a big fan of that, so I always encourage you guys to leave that open as they do in the instruction manual. Another thing I like about it is that this also provides information on why juicing is so beneficial. You guys don't understand, but the Hurom R&D development department has done lots of testing on the different phytonutrients in juice and how their juicers will basically break open cell walls more effectively than something like high-speed juicers out there to get and extract more nutrition out of the juice. And one of the things I really like in here is they tell you why you should drink Hurom juice, or really any juice for that matter. And basically it says Hurom juice is healthy and natural juice without any artificial additives and processing. But the main thing is that when you juice something, you increase absorption, as proven by published studies, and you shorten that digestive time because now our bodies are better able to digest, especially things that can be harder to digest, such as vegetables, such as carrots, and even leafy greens. You know, our body really doesn't have a big problem digesting fruits because technically we are frugivorous if you look at our digestive system. So that's why I really encourage you to juice vegetables, especially leafy green vegetables, in your juicer, but not necessarily juice any high volumes of fruit. Link down below to my video where I discuss why you should never juice fruit, and if you do, do some of the steps I will share to make it more healthy. All right, next up I want to go over, there's a hidden tag which is actually on the back of the machine. So this ensures you have a Hurom, authorized product. Very important. If you guys should buy this machine, you want to make sure you buy it in the country you're going to use it. Otherwise, you may be foregoing and losing your warranty. And then also, one discrepancy is that online, their website says this runs at 70 revolutions per minute, which is in multiple places. But in the information that comes with the machine, it says it runs at 60 revolutions per minute. Sometimes this discrepancy is due to the operating voltage and the hertz of the juicer. So for example, this is the 120 volt 60 hertz model that runs at 60 RPM, and potentially the 240 volt model that runs at 50 hertz likely runs at 70 RPM, and even Hurom USA did not update their website. And of course, this has a 30-minute duty cycle and run time, and it has 150 watt motor. Of course, you get the standard juice collection cup that comes with most Hurom juicers and other similar juicers. And then you get a brand new redesigned collection cup. I like the design of this collection cup because it kind of form fits right where it needs to around the juicer. That being said, the sad thing is I wish these would nest. So they should have made this a little bit larger so you could actually nest these two in between to save lots of space during storage. Of course, they give you a pusher, which in my opinion you should not really be needing to use the pusher if they've designed this properly so that all the produce will automatically get cut up and dropped into the machine. The pusher can be put into the feed chute. Never put anything else into this feed chute aside from the produce or the pusher. Actually recently talked to a customer. He said, "John, I didn't follow your instructions, man. I put a knife down in there and he ruined his juicer." All right, and then of course you get a cleaning brush that actually you may not even need because Hurom claims you could rinse this off. And actually, let me show you guys that in the instruction manual. All right, so here in the quick start guide, it says right here, you can clean it under running water without having to use a brush. So yeah, you don't even need the brush with the Hurom H70 Easy Clean Juicer. So next up, I'm going to take apart the Hurom H70 Easy Clean Juicer and show you guys just the few parts that you will need to assemble, disassemble, and also literally just hose off when you're done. So to disassemble or assemble, you're going to want to remove the whole juicing apparatus from the main motor body. And then what you're going to do is you could go ahead and put your hand in here, and there's a little lock and unlock line. So you just put it in the little handle, which actually this is a mini size handle. My hand barely fits in here. So if you got a large American style hand, you might have to use only 3 fingers. But anyways, you turn it and this will come off. So I really love the design of this hopper. It does look to be a little bit smaller than their H400 machine. That's a lot more larger. This is kind of like the in-between size. I do like that they actually have kind of a funnel on the little hole there where you feed things in. And then they kind of have like an easier snap to open design that actually reminds me of another popular juicer out there, unlike their other models where you actually got to do a little clip. So this is nice. In addition, this hopper is a bit more round than their other models, which I think is going to perform a little bit better. And actually one of the things I like a lot is that their processing blade comes out to the edge. Other companies on the market should take a note of this. Other companies' juicers don't come out to the edge, and that's when you get significant pulp and produce left in your hopper because it's not being fully agitated. So really like the design. In addition, they've gotten a little bit more aggressive as the produce comes around to the hole, which is actually a bit smaller than other juicers, but they got a few different like little like ridges and stuff in there, which I think is really cool. And you know, that's one thing I got to give props out to Hurom. On their newest and latest models, they always up their game. You know, they make it better than the last model. And this is something I really appreciate them for. That being said, they always seem to come out with a new model every year. So if you want the latest and greatest, you got to buy the newest model, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But yeah, I do like that they seem to have made improvements to this bowl. I do hope in the future maybe they come out with a larger bowl that could be stuck on this machine so you could actually have even more hopper space. Of course, on the bottom of this, I also like, unlike some of their other models, that there's basically no nooks and crannies underneath here where pulp will get stuck on any major way. They had some issues with their, I think, H300 model that I tested. In addition, they have an external gasket seal, which looks like it'll be pretty stable and won't easily come out like on some other hopper style machines. Now the magic of this juicer is really this. This is the easy clean design that is absolutely the easiest juicer to clean in the market, that could literally be hosed down with your kitchen sink sprayer. And literally this is the innovation right here. You literally pull out the auger here and you have one auger and then you have one juicing bowl. This deletes several parts from juicers of today. Most juicers have an auger, then a mesh screen with stainless steel holes that you need to scrub, or you will get mineral buildup and things will clog the holes and reduce your performance over time. I recently visited a friend in Puerto Rico, and actually she was not cleaning her juicer well, and basically I will say that all the holes in her juicer's screen were plugged, and I don't even know how she was even getting any juice, because at that point you're wasting your produce. And so Hurom has basically advanced their technology over about 20 years of making vertical juicers to this design, which eliminates another part to break the juicing screen as well as a part to clean. So all you have is an auger and then you have the juicing bowl. It couldn't be simpler, and I really love that Hurom has made this juicing bowl even simpler with larger passageways to clean than their previous versions I've seen. Especially the inner chamber that has a large area where the juice comes out. The pulp, little area on the outer chamber is still a little bit small, but I'm pretty confident with a sprayer I could still spray it clean. In addition, they've also reduced the passageways or the run on when the pulp comes out. So if we open this, which is the quick clean, you open this literally and you just, once again, spray this down. They have a silicone gasket which actually is attached so you don't lose it, unlike some other machines on the market. And then it actually goes in fairly easily, and I like how it's actually raised up instead of like more close down. This makes it easier to kind of clean underneath it. I mean, they've thought about the design on this machine, in my opinion. Hopefully they've optimized the size of that little hole there, because that hole can be problematic depending on what you're juicing, because if that hole is not optimally designed, fibers may get clogged in the juicer, and then in my opinion that will basically defeat the whole hopper style design. So hopefully they've gotten that right, because I have not tested this machine yet. This is the first time I'm using it. The other thing I will say is I do like this locking mechanism. This seems nice and stable because it goes around the whole port here. I will say on some other machines that have a thinner locking mechanism, I was seeing some customers having that break. So this is definitely improvement on the design. Once again, shorter run. This is higher up. It's attached. Also, this locking mechanism is solid. Now, this is where the juice comes out, and you once again have this juice spout that they recommend in their recipe book to keep open when you're juicing. But meanwhile, they say to keep it open while you're juicing, but then contrary to that, they actually have this level gauge, like a fuel gauge in your car. So, and this is the part that I'm not the biggest fan of. I wish they would actually delete this myself. For this, now to clean this part, instead of just spraying it out easily, you have extra parts to clean, so it looks cool. And what you need to do here is there's a little tab here, you just flick, and then now this whole assembly comes off, which I suppose, once it's open here, now this part is easy to clean. You could easily clean inside here, which I would say, on some levels is kind of cool, because on some juicers where it just comes out and you have the flap, that little, little tube where the juice comes out always gets clogged and stained, and the cleaning brush that is included with juicers, except the Kuvings, doesn't easily allow you to clean it. So with this way, because you can take it apart, you can easily spray it off. So pros and cons. Maybe this is a good design after all. I'll have to see. But I really still don't like this little level thing as you're juicing. But nonetheless, inside this part is just one solid piece. This is basically a two-tone plastic. So you have the smoke color, and they've also done like a kind of yellowish tinge to the plastic on the inside, because how this specifically works is as the produce goes in, it's pre-cut by the auger into smaller pieces and then forced on the outside of the machine, and then the pulp is literally ground up between these little ribs in the juicer, and then some of the ribbing on this auger here, and then the juice is squeezed out, and then what happens is the juice actually that's squeezed out then falls in through the cracks right here, and then this auger is actually two pieces, so we could pull this out. But basically what happens is the juice falls in between these two cracks, which once again, easy to clean and is not going to clog like a screen will, stainless steel screen will, and where you can actually get so much buildup that your machine is not going to be functional. And I encourage you guys, if you guys have a juicer with a stainless steel screen, take your screen, go outside or go in your kitchen, hold it up to a light bulb or put the light bulb in between it. And then you want to look through the screen, through all the holes, and tell me what percentage of the screen holes are clogged. I'm really pragmatic when I clean my screen, and I'll say less than 10% of my holes are clogged, but even me, you know, being kind of anal and scrubbing in there, I still have a small percentage of holes that are plugged, and most people are just haphazardly, oh, I just rinse it off. You guys are going to have a lot of the holes plugged on your stainless steel screen, in which case you may need to take a pin to pop out the pulp out of each hole so you can get your juicer back to original performance, or spend a bunch of money to buy a new juicing screen that's not all clogged up. Or of course, a better solution in my opinion might be to get the Hurom H70 so that you never have to worry about screens being clogged up with pulp again. So yeah, so this just goes together. I do like that they've made this whole part a lot more rigid than their previous versions. I mean, some of their versions I'd be able to take this and bend it easily. This is quite rigid, so they've really been making improvements on these parts as future generations come out. Of course, you don't want to drop this, because one of the things I fear is if you drop this and the tines hit the concrete floor, tile floor the wrong way, it could potentially break, and then you'd need to buy replacement parts, because obviously that would not be covered under warranty. But assembly of this machine is a dream, because literally there's like 4 parts or 5 parts you'll need to do. So first you'll need to put on the spout here. So this basically just goes in like a little hinge, and then you want to just clip this down. You're going to go ahead and then take the 2-part auger, take the lower half of the auger, upper part, snap them together, they lock in place, drop that down in there, seats very easily. Then you're going to go ahead and take the hopper, line up this a little bit to the offset to this back, and then you're just going to slide it in place, in which case there's a lock padlock here and an unlock. So I mean, if you just turn this, this goes to the unlock, this goes to the lock, but instead I just like to look at the back and just line it offset it a little bit, turn it in place. The other thing I did not mention is that this lid is hinged. It's almost a suicide lid, so it almost goes straight flat back like that, so it can be set upside down in your drain rack, unlike some of the other juicers I've tested where the hinge lid is attached and does not go all the way back. So I do like this design. Once you have it fully assembled, and you want to make sure when you snap this down it clicks in, because I see on my unit you could put it down but then it won't snap in. If it doesn't snap down all the way, then the machine may not turn on. But once again, once you have it all assembled, you drop it in place, and now the machine should be ready to turn on. And let's go ahead and turn it on for the first time. Check it out. This guy runs at a low and slow 60 revolutions per minute, and it's really quiet, so you can operate this while others in your house are sleeping. And let's go ahead and do a decibel test on it. We're peaking at around 65, 66 decibels on the Hurom H70 machine. So far, so good. This juicer looks amazing, really quiet, and I'm really looking forward to the easy cleaning. Literally just spraying it down. Because honestly, the thing I'll tell you guys is this. I'm like you guys. I really don't like cleaning. I mean, I love juicing, but I hate cleaning. Especially I love juicing with the hopper style machines. So this machine solves my issue. It has a hopper, and hopefully they come out with a bigger hopper one of these days. But it also is even easier to clean than other hopper-style juicers from other brands on the market at this time. And I think really that's where this machine shines. Plus, of course, with Hurom's 50 years in the industry and their solid track record and performance of always and continual improvement in their designs and making machines more bulletproof for their customers, I think they might have a winner. So next up, let's go ahead and juice in the Hurom H70. All right, so today we're going to juice one of the most popular produce items to juice, which I would actually encourage you guys to juice on a regular basis. This is organic celery. Organic celery is amazing. It has lots of different electrolytes or mineral salts, if you want to call it that, as well as a structured water, vitamins and minerals, and even things like the apigenin that may even help you sleep better, according to some of the science that is out there. Now, to juice this in the Hurom H70, you can't just put this in there like that. The lid won't shut. So what Hurom recommends in their instruction manual is to cut it into about 3-centimeter pieces. That's a little bit bigger than 1 inch. So that's what I'm going to do. Of course, you know, once you own the juicer, you could try to like cut a little bit larger if you want. But I really like to cut things a bit smaller, because if you cut things smaller, then you can more effectively load up the hopper to fill it better with smaller pieces instead of larger pieces. And then, of course, they have a maximum fill line, so they don't want you filling above this maximum fill line for best results. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this up into approximately 1-inch pieces for you guys. All right, so you guys can see I got that celery pre-cut. Super simple, super easy. Next, we're just going to go ahead and load this hopper, and we can see if we're going to fit one whole head of celery in the hopper. All right, check it out, guys. So it looks like one whole head of celery barely fit in the hopper. I'm a little bit above the line, but we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to go ahead and shut the lid, make sure it snaps in place and is locked down, and then we're going to go ahead and turn the juicer on. All right, so now that we got the juicer all loaded up, I want to see how long it's going to take to juice one head of celery in the H70 running at 60 revolutions per minute. So we're just going to get out the handy dandy stopwatch on the phone app and see. All right, so let's go ahead and hit start and turn the machine on, and let's get juicing some celery. The amazing thing about the Hurom H70 is that once you got the hopper loaded up, you can literally let the machine run without you. That's how it's been designed to make the juicing process even easier. All right, check it out, guys. The Hurom H70 has worked beautifully. There's like nothing left in the hopper. Not all this stuff is stuck to the sides, and we made one tall glass over 16 ounces of celery juice in one fall swoop without me doing nothing, and it took approximately 2.5 minutes to do so. That being said, once you see the hopper empty, you want to check to make sure that the juice has stopped dripping, and more importantly, the pulp has stopped flowing out of the machine. This is your indication that you should turn off the machine, because that means there'll be the least amount of pulp left in the machine and that it went through and got everything juiced. Of course, one of the things I like to do on every juicer is always tip it up to see if we get any final last drips of juice out. Then, of course, I close the spout cap to prevent drips on the countertop, and check it out, guys. One nice tall glass of celery juice made easily in the Hurom H70. Let's go ahead and taste test it. Wow, that's a good juice. Now here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to say this is a clean and fine juice like you would get out of a pure juicer, right? I will say, due to the design, this does put more pulp in the juice than, say, a juicer with a stainless steel screen. That being said, some pulp in the juice has been shown to be beneficial for your health, actually, and I'll have a video where I dive into this deeper and reveal some of the published science on this. That being said, the main thing I'm looking forward to is the cleaning, because it's no scrub. All right, so now I want to show you guys actually what's left in the Hurom H70 after juicing. So we're going to go ahead and take it off the base. We're going to go ahead and turn this off and pop up the lid. And check it out, guys. This hopper is impressive. One of the things that ticks me off and bothers me a lot about many of the hopper juicers out there is that a lot of them will leave a lot of residue. Of course, in the hopper, which means you're going to get less juice. Also, it makes cleaning a little bit more difficult. That being said, I will give the disclaimer, depending on what you're juicing, it may leave more or less in the chamber, the hopper chamber, when you're done. That being said, I think based on this test, the Hurom H70 has done a remarkable job. I'm barely seeing anything left inside that hopper chamber. And of course, on the bottom, a lot of juices will have a lot of buildup pulp that actually did not get juiced. The Hurom H70 has been designed really well to leave minimal pulp, in this instance, on the bottom of the chamber itself, which is also, to me, shows the high standard that Hurom goes through to make sure their machines work as best as possible. Next up is the amazing part, and I want to show you guys what's left in the little juicing bowl here. So first we take out the top half of the auger. You guys can see very little pulp left on this. And then if we take out the second half of the auger, once again, very little pulp left on this. I will say in the bottom of the chamber, there's definitely a little bit of pulp left in there, but that's a lot less pulp than maybe like a screen style juicer would have. The next thing I want to do for you guys is actually we're just going to go ahead and reassemble this, and I'm going to go ahead and take it out to my sink, and we're going to go ahead and time to see how long these juicing parts take to clean without any scrubbing. So now I want to show you guys how fast it is to clean the Hurom H70 using no brush, literally just spraying it down. You could use your standard sink with your different sprayers. I have a sprayer like this, I have a sprayer like this, and then I have a blade sprayer which actually works better. But I want to even save more time, so what I'm going to use is I have a garden hose sprayer that really comes out with a lot more force and power to dislodge all the pulp. This is what I normally use to clean other juicers as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the start on the stopwatch and then get to cleaning. All right, 1, 2, 3, start. Take this apart, and we're just going to go ahead and literally spray this out, super high pressure. All the pulp. Next up, I'm going to spray down the auger. Next up, spray the bottom part of the auger. Last up, we're going to spray down where the pulp comes out. Where the juice comes out. Spray down the inner chamber. Spray down the final part. Hit stop. We're done. Look at that. Under a minute to clean the Hurom H70, the easiest vertical juicer to clean I've ever found. Wow, so you guys saw that's the fastest juicer and easiest juicer I've ever cleaned in my entire life. It literally took me under a minute to clean this bad boy up, and it juiced the celery 16 ounces without any problem and was just so amazing to use. Now I do want to check out the pulp, right? We want to see how dry is this pulp. And I hate when people classify pulp as dry or wet. That's only, that's binary. It's either on or off, dry or wet. Pulp dryness is a whole spectrum of pulp dryness. If you want to spend $2,500 or $2,000 and get a pure juicer, that will get sawdust, bone dry pulp, in my opinion. Let's check out this pulp here. All right, so first thing I want to show you guys is that if you look at the bottom of this, there's no juice in the bottom. Now, of course, if you juice something like pineapples, there may be a little bit of juice in the bottom. But on the celery pulp, I'm going to squeeze it right up and squeeze it. And you guys can see there's definitely some juice coming out of it. So I'm not going to say this is the driest pulp in the world. And, I haven't experimented with this on the Hurom yet, but I know in other vertical hopper style machines, I'll put the pulp back through a second time with something like cubed up jicama to get a further extraction of the pulp. I will say that this is pretty much in line or on par with other vertical hopper style juicers, some of the high-end ones on the market. But of course, you're going to have to click that subscribe button right down below and click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out, because I will be comparing this model to other hopper style juicers on the market in future episodes, so you guys can learn the pros and cons, ins and outs, and see this when I compare this directly head to head against other models. So the last thing I want to do for you guys is show you guys that the Hurom H70, as it comes right out of the box with no additional attachments, right? Some companies make you buy additional attachments to make something called the frozen fruit sorbet. You don't need to buy any additional attachments with the Hurom H70. It can make the juices of the fruits and the vegetables. It could also make the frozen fruit sorbets as well as nut milks as it comes set up with the Easy Clean system. So let's go ahead and make some banana sorbet in the Hurom H70. So to make banana sorbet, all we're going to need is frozen bananas. It's always best to pre-cut your bananas into smaller pieces, then freeze them. When you put in smaller pieces of bananas into the Hurom or any slow juice for that matter, they're going to basically turn into sorbet easier than big long pieces. Also, you may want to take it out of your freezer and then let it thaw out a little bit so it's a bit softer than hard. And of course, while I'm using 100% bananas today, you can add in other things like strawberries, berries. You could use frozen mangoes or frozen pineapples and make some incredible 100% fruit sorbets that are going to help you and your family stop eating the processed, ultra-processed ice creams that have added sugars and monodiglycerides and all kinds of additives, right? Nothing but fruit, frozen fruit, super healthy, super nutritious, as well as super delicious and cooling on these hot summer days. So all we got is the bananas. We have a bowl that we're actually going to put under where the pulp normally comes out. We're going to go ahead and then close the spout cap, and we're going to go ahead and turn the machine on. It's running nice and silent. I estimate this around 60 decibels nowadays, and just drop in one piece of banana at a time. Basically, it's going to get processed by the processing blade and get put into the juicer. As you guys can see, slowly but surely, from where the pulp normally comes out, we're getting a nice stream of banana nice cream. No cream is required. So look at that. That's actually a really nice flat piece coming out. That looks pretty cool. It's like a ribbon. It's like banana sorbet ribbon. I can't wait to taste it. It's going to be amazing. All right, now it's coming out real good once it started to get going. Alright, in this case, unlike with the case of the celery, the frozen bananas are kind of sticking to the sides of the hopper. So we're just going to go ahead and open the lid up and then shove this down a little bit to get it to kind of get processed. Alright, as you guys can see, we got all the bananas to go through, and we're just going to go ahead and take a spoon and get out the rest there. Now I do want to give a disclaimer. I did see that the bananas kind of were getting stuck and not going in, because what would happen is the bananas would get kind of processed by the processing blade. They get chopped up a little bit, then they'd basically stick to the wall. They would kind of almost refreeze or harden into one big glob that the processing blade wasn't able to process. I believe this is due to the smaller feed chute in the bottom of the hopper. I believe this may be rectified by maybe cutting the bananas a little bit smaller, and or putting some like blueberries in with the bananas, because the blueberries are like hard little like round things, and that'll actually keep everything moving around, but the bananas tend to mush up really good. I think this might be alleviated also with maybe some adding other berries that tend to be more hard and have actually higher water content than bananas, which are actually one of the lowest content fruits. They have approximately 70% water content, but that is why they make an amazing banana ice cream. Look at this. Look at this nice texture, guys. Let me go ahead and taste it here. Wow. I'm going to have to tell you guys honestly, this is probably one of the best slow juicers, right, to make the sorbet. The way it works, the way it grinds up things into really fine consistency. A lot of machines may make what I call more hard-packed, where you bite into it and it's still just kind of a frozen blob. Because it comes out in a nice ribbon, this actually has a really beautiful and nice texture, kind of a really nicer texture than I've tried on other machines. Of course, you can't beat the texture of the original Champion juicer that actually adds significant oxygen into the banana sorbet as well as your juices, which then causes the oxidation damage and the polyphenol oxidase to reduce the polyphenols of berries should you be processing them at the same time. But yeah, this banana ice cream is amazing. And once again, I have another under 60 seconds of cleaning on the H70 juicer. So I think now I want to sum this episode up where I got to make the banana sorbet, I got to make the celery juice in the Hurom H70 and unbox it, share my opinions with it for you guys for the first time. And what I'm going to leave you guys with this. If you guys have never juiced before, never invested in a juicer before because you hated the cleaning, you hated how long it took to juice, right? This is the machine that makes it the easiest to juice ever out of any machine I've ever tested. And trust me, on my YouTube channel I have over 800 episodes where I compare and contrast different juicers and other equipment to allow you to process more fruits and vegetables. I'm going to say, I declare the Hurom H70 is the easiest one ever to use and clean. Literally all you do is you put the produce inside there, turn it on, you walk away, you drink your juice, you come back, you spray it down under a minute, and boom, you're done with very little effort on your part. So that is truly what is holding you back from juicing, is the cleaning and the overall work it takes, which can be a lot of work on some machines, right? You guys want to buy the Hurom H70 machine. And if you guys want to buy the Hurom H70, make sure you guys use a coupon code NOSCRUB. We'll throw it up right there, NOSCRUB, at Hurom.com. And you guys will save 10% or get their best available price depending on what promotion they have. But make sure you guys use that coupon code NOSCRUB10. It's going to get you guys a minimum of 10%. And if Hurom is having another promotion, my coupon codes will honor and have the best promotion so that you get the lowest price on this amazing Hurom machine. So, I mean, here's a summary. I love this machine. It works great. The pros are it's the easiest to clean ever, right? It's made by Hurom, a company that has been in business for over 50 years and literally invented vertical slow juicing nearly 20 years ago. Of course, this machine also has a 10-year motor warranty. The motor's probably never going to fail on you, and it has minimal amounts of parts to fail, and of course you're not going to get all the mineral buildup and pulp buildup inside the stainless steel holes. It is also the easiest vertical hopper juicer I've ever tested to clean. Now, of course, with the pros, there's a few cons, like how the sorbet didn't work optimally, and that's due to, I believe, the smaller feed chute size in the bottom of the hopper. But of course, this machine was probably optimized for doing juicing and not specifically optimized for doing sorbets. Of course, another con, and I hope they come out with a newer version in the future, is I hope they come out with a larger hopper to fit on the top so I can fit even more produce and bulk juice in greater volumes than I can with their existing hopper. That is roughly the approximate size of most other hoppers, maybe a tad bit smaller on the market at this time. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if this episode or my other episodes have helped you, give you the information you need to make the right and the best juicer purchase for you, I would encourage you guys to use my coupon codes that appear in all my videos, because my company name is Discount Juicers. I founded my company in 1998 to save you guys the most money on juicers, and more importantly, educate people about the differences in juices. That I first started by making comparison charts back in the day, static web pages. Nowadays, of course, I do live in-person demonstrations where I can share with you guys much more information, as well as share my juicing experience and knowledge and know-how with you, since I am the #1 world's juicer expert, and I've tested more juicers than anybody else alive that I am aware of. So if I have helped you out, hey, help me out. And the way you can help me out is by using that coupon code NOSCRUB at Hurom.com to save 10% or even more depending on the promotion they have. When you guys use that coupon code, not only will you get the lowest price so I can remain true to my name, Discount Juicers, but also Hurom will show me a small commission so I can continue to make my educational videos and continue my work to educate the people about the power of juicing and give you guys honest reviews about the juicers where I share my pros and cons. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. More importantly, sure to share this video with other people that are looking for the easiest to use and easiest to clean juicer that can be cleaned in under 60 seconds. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes. I'm coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning. on my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come in. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 800 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to comparing and contrasting and unboxing all the major brand juicers on the market so that you can purchase the right one for you. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.